Hey crafty people! Welcome back to my channel, and in case you're new here, I'm Sarah, also known as Craft Nerd because I'm a nerd who loves to craft. I do paper crafting, card making, junk journaling, and mixed media art. Let's get crafting! Welcome back. In case you haven't been watching my videos this month, I am participating in Ceri the Crafter's hashtag Mixed Media March 25 challenge. And the short explanation of the challenge is you need to post a finished project every day in the month of March. It's got to incorporate gel printing, the number for its corresponding day. The project needs to be rectangular in shape, and you need to sign it. I'll leave a link to his intro video down below in case you want to check out all the information on it. And you may notice my fingers are a bit blue. If you watched yesterday's video, you know I made a comment that I didn't have any dark blue cheesecloth, so I decided I should dye some dark blue cheesecloth, and now I look like a Smurf. So please excuse my blue hands. I don't like using gloves. I don't think it's necessary. My hands will eventually the ink will eventually wash off, but until then I have pretty blue fingers. Also, if you watched yesterday's video, you saw me cut down this gel print into 4 pieces, and so today we're going to do the second journaling card piece from our gel printed piece. I did do this gel print in a video. I will leave a link to, I've created a playlist for all of my hashtag mixed media March 25 videos. So that will be in that playlist in case you missed it. And I'm going to start by gluing this piece down onto a piece of coffee dyed paper because I printed this on finger paint paper and it's kind of flimsy, and so I want to just give it a little bit more bulk. So let's go ahead and do that. We will trim off all of that excess here in a sec. Okay, so let's just make sure we're glued down everywhere. Okay, first step, I want to ink around my edges, and I'm going to use Uncharted Mariner, which is what my fingers are, because that's what I used to dye some cheesecloth, and I did some lace and some seam binding, and yeah, now I got blue fingers. And I think in addition to the blue, I'm actually going to come in on this one and add a little of the scorched timber to add just a little bit more interest. Okay. Now I did go ahead and pull out a couple things that I think I want to use on this one, and this is the Tim Holtz Sizzix die set. I think it's vintage labels, where you can ink the die and it'll give you the lines on it when you die cut it. So I've got that, and we definitely need to ink that up. And this is a 49 in Market transparency, and it's butterfly, obviously, and we're going to add that to it. I also think I'm going to use some cheesecloth behind. The cheesecloth I dyed isn't dry yet, so I can't use that yet. I have a feeling the last one of these that I'm planning on doing, like number 4, is going to get put on hold till that cheesecloth dries. But I think this will work for this one. Let's start by inking up this label, because yeah, I just grabbed white cardstock, and after I die cut them, realized I probably should have used some coffee dyed cardstock, but it was too late at that point. All right, let's grab some tea dye as our first layer. Now I'm gonna grab my vintage photo and an acrylic block. We're gonna put some ink on there. Spritz it with a little water. Go like that to get some bigger dots. And just kind of smush stamp it on. Woo! I'm going to grab my heat tool and dry that off. Kind of want to add some more dots on that are less like spread out kind of thing. And I'm going to come in with a cloth and just dry that guy. And I think I'm also gonna grab another block, put a little water on it, grab my splat brush, and just then give it a second to reactivate the ink. And then I'm gonna go like that. And I don't know how well you can see, and actually it needs to, didn't get all of the water off. I pulled some of the ink off, so hopefully you can see that. So there we go. So definitely added more interest to that. That I'm gonna put here, and I definitely think I want some cheesecloth behind it. I've been watching a lot of videos by Crafty by Tony, and she uses a lot of cheesecloth. And I'm like, I have a ton of cheesecloth. I'm constantly, you know, keeping a stash of dyed cheesecloth. I should use it. So I think we're gonna stick that down behind our piece. Let's go ahead and grab, oh, wait, no, before we attach cheesecloth in this to the piece, I want to do some stamping on it. So, and if you didn't know, Crafty by Tony has a line of stamps. I'll leave a link to her Etsy shop down below. And so these are some of her new stamps. I think I may grab this texture stamp and a block. And I think I'm going to do it with Uncharted Mariner, but what we're going to do is, so that it's not too dark blue, stamp off, then stamp on there. Just add a little bit more interest to our background. Let's actually bring over our butterfly and glue our butterfly down, which I think I may have misplaced somewhere on the desk. This is the problem with transparent pieces. They're easy, here it is. They're easy to lose. So that guy's gonna go there. So let's go ahead and glue it down so we don't lose it. And I'm gonna use my Barely Art glue for this because that works a little bit better for your clear and translucent type things. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on so that it hopefully won't show up too bad through the piece. And I focused on the darker spots of the butterfly. All right, so now we can do a little bit of stamping. I'm debating whether I want to pull out a scripty stamp and stamp lightly, and I think I do. This is another Crafty by Tony stamp. That's right side up, and I'm just gonna ink it with vintage photo because I want it to be subtle. Let's see. Just gonna go like that. Again, just adding texture to the background, adding interest. Now I want to, before I forget, before we do anything else, add in our number because today is the 12th, so we need to get a 12 on here. So this is a Crafty by Tony stamp. And actually, before I do that, pull those out. Stick them here for a sec. I want to add this little swirly bit underneath on the top there. And I'm going to do that in the Uncharted Mariner. got, and it's going to be super tiny. It's NO for number. So let's ink that up. And again, we're going to use the Uncharted Mariner. I'm going to stamp it right about there. And now we're going to stamp our 12. So let's put our numbers down. This would be one of those times it would be helpful to have grid blocks, because then you could line up the numbers easier. I'm just going to kind of wing it. So we got our 12, and I think it needs something up here, a word or something. Let me see if I can find something I like. I found the word classic in another of the Crafty by Tony stamp sets. So we're gonna stamp the word classic, and I am gonna use the Uncharted Mariner again. All right, now we can bring our piece back over. We can glue our cheesecloth on the back of our label and glue our label down, and then decide if we need anything else. I think I need to, it feels like it's folded over here, but I can't seem to get it to, you know what, is the whole thing folded over? I think we're going to trim this down a little bit. All right. I'm going to try and spread this out a bit because it just seems clumpy over here for some reason, and I'm not loving that. All right, let's grab scissors, and we're just going to snip this bit off over here. Glue this on, and actually probably snip a little bit more off. Let's start by adding the glue to the back, put the cheesecloth on, and then we can edit the cheesecloth as needed so it suits, you know, what I want aesthetic wise. I'm going to trim a little off the top. And I will save those pieces and use them on something else. And now I think we're going to just glue that down. And I'm using my Fabri-Tac because it works a little bit better when gluing things like cheesecloth and fabric. And I need to sign it. I think, again, well, you know what? Let's do it down here. And I'm just going to do my initials. And I hope this is going to work on this, the paint. Because I'm not sure if that's going to dry. Let's do that. All right, I think it might be dry. I tap it with my finger, but I wouldn't be able to tell because my fingers are blue. So yeah, I kind of like that. I think we're going to call this one done. So that's all for today. If you enjoyed this video, please do all the things that lets YouTube know you enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave me a comment down below. Thanks for joining me, and happy crafting.